Hey my good friends, Sam Haymart with Test Driven TV. Today I've got some exciting updates on the new 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid specifically. Now I ordered one, I finally got scheduled for production after several months of waiting, but more important than that, some exciting news has been popping up on the internet today about EPA numbers, and also going to talk about a new financing program that Ford's offering on the Maverick for the customers who've ordered to make it a little bit easier to get that vehicle at a lower cost for financing after waiting for so long. That is what's coming up. Right out of the gate, if you've been watching my channel for the last few months, I ordered my own new 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid back in June. Now, I waited a long time before I even heard anything from Ford, as have thousands of people out there who've ordered hybrids specifically. Now, if you're looking at EcoBoost, those are showing up at dealership lots right now, and people who have ordered those things are starting to get their trucks. But hybrid owners have been waiting a very long time, and they have yet to show up at dealerships because they have, as of this video, yet to ship from the factory. They're just starting to produce them, and that's because there were several delays in getting the hybrid online, but also the EPA numbers have been sort of keeping those things from shipping. They can't ship and sell a vehicle without an EPA sticker on the window. And so I finally got my production date last week. I got the email from Ford that comes out every Thursday. It's like a lottery system. My vehicle will be scheduled for production on December 6th, the week of, and then I should expect to get delivery sometime around the first of the year. Now, that makes my experience with this situation one in which it took about 5 months. That's been my experience with how long it takes to order one and get it. Now, the big news that really happened today, and it does have to do with the time it's taken for these vehicles, is the fact that the hybrid has not yet been approved by the EPA. And so if you look at fueleconomy.gov, there are no numbers there as of today. But today, on the Ford servers, window stickers have been popping up for the new hybrid that show some amazing numbers for the MPG. The numbers that we're seeing today are actually exceeding expectations. As we can see right there on the sticker, MPG for city on the hybrid is 42. They were only forecasting 40. Highway MPG 33 and combined 37. Now that 37 number they've been saying for a while was their target for combined MPG, but 40 was the headline back in June when they first put the press release out and started taking reservations. So a lot of owners out there right now, I bet, are quite happy that they've waited for the hybrid. I know I am. So 42 MPG city is a very good number, even for most hybrid cars, but for a pickup truck, if it actually delivers on that, it ought to be pretty good. So there is that, and that's a big deal. So what this means for all of us who are waiting for these trucks is that because those numbers are showing up in the public, that means they're more or less approved. Now, we don't see that, as I mentioned, on the fueleconomy.gov website, the official EPA website, but it wouldn't shock me to see that showing up any day now that we have window stickers printed with that number. And so that means that we can start to see trucks getting shipped probably pretty soon. Now, there's been some news out there that the okay to buy, which is the ability for Ford to actually ship and sell these vehicles, was supposed to be December 8th, and that may still be, but that was never confirmed. That was hocus pocus out there in the news. Basically, though, where we're at now means that number is set. It's not a question mark anymore, and that okay to buy literally could come anytime. So for the people who are waiting on, that means that as soon as they give the okay to buy, they can start shipping the vehicles that are built. It takes about 4 weeks for delivery. So that's where that's at. And I'm excited because as long as that stays and sticks, when my vehicle arrives will probably be either just before the first of the year or just after, if my build date sticks. Now, because a lot of people have been waiting a long time for these trucks, maybe they ordered back in June and July and August, Ford has created this additional financing program that allows buyers to step a tier up in getting better finance rates when these trucks actually come. And it's a program that outlines guaranteed approval through Ford Motor Credit. And it's not a get me on program for people with bad credit. It's nothing like that. But basically what it is, it's guaranteed approval for all of these people who have ordered these trucks and waited quite a long time, and it requires a minimum credit score of 620, which isn't bad credit. It's not the best, but it's not bad credit. and it requires $500 down, and there's some stipulations on how much you can actually spend on the truck, which means it can't be for someone that the dealer's sticking a $5 or $6 grand addendum to. This has to be right at or close to sticker price. 110% of retail says the stipulations here. But basically what it means is if you qualify for these stipulations, which are about mid-grade, you can get a step up in the tier, which gives you a lower financing rate. And this is a good thing, not only because it's a bit of a reward for all of those people who have been waiting a long time for their trucks, but it's also a way to sort of insulate people, because look, if you ordered in June and you're getting your truck in the end of the year like I am, or maybe it was 3 or 4 months later, a lot can happen in your life in that period of time. You know, if you're self-employed, you had to go buy a bunch of stuff for your business, that can affect your credit score. If you had some kind of an emergency and you had to go get into debt on a few things to pay some bills, that can affect your credit score. And so they want to make sure that all of these people who have been the pioneers and who have invested in this truck in terms of making this launch a success, they want to make sure that they can still buy their vehicle when the time comes, even if things have changed on them a little bit. Or they just want to sweeten the pot to help reward all of us for waiting. And my understanding of this program here, and I've got the graphic up on the screen, is that it's also something that applies to pretty much anyone that buys one of these. This goes through March 31st of 2022, which based on the math we were doing on one of our videos earlier on hybrid delays, that's about when they're going to be catching up with all of the pre-orders for this truck. So it's definitely aimed at making sure all of those people that were in the ordering system for these trucks get the opportunity to go home with their truck and get a good deal. So I just wanted to put a little bit out there about that, but I really do think the big news is really the EPA 42 MPG city. And if any of you are curious about why it's more in the city and less on the highway, that's because hybrids do better in the city. That's just how they work. In the city, the electric motor is doing a lot more of the work a lot more of the time. The gas engine's off more often than not. Therefore, you're using less gas. Out on the highway speeds, the engine's going to be running about 100% of the time. Every once in a while it can shut off if you're coasting, things like that. But that is why you have those numbers being opposite of what we know for most gas engines. And we have a video on our playlist that explains the hybrid, how it works and all that. So if you want to get more into that, check our playlist out. And there it is right there. All of our content that we've done on the Maverick, including my test drive that I just did last week on an EcoBoost model. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel right there to keep abreast of everything we do. Stay tuned.